Hello, this is Valerie Isan, and this is episode 10 of the Indie Author Mentor Show. And today it is May 8th, 2019, as I record this. Today I'm talking about marketing strategies, specifically KDP Select or not, and to pre-order or not. So we'll talk a little bit about those things. I'm hoping to keep the episode a little bit shorter today, because my podcast seemed to settle around 30 minutes or so. And while I think that's a pretty okay time, I really wanted to create a podcast that would be easy for you to listen to briefly, like on your way to work or on your way to any place, really. I like shorter podcasts because then I get to listen to more of them. I really love podcasts, and I'll be telling you about a couple of new ones that I started listening to recently. But first, a personal update. Let's see. I signed up. This is super exciting. I'm really, really excited about this. So last year, let's see, this is 2019. So this whole year, and I want to say last year too, last year I didn't go to any writing events, big ones like conferences. And I used to go to one or two a year. So I stepped down from the Willamette Writers organization. I was co-chairing the chapter there, and I did that for 7 years. And I stepped down and I started teaching. And I stepped down so that I could start teaching and putting some more effort into that, and developing curriculum and such. And I went to one of their meetings. So I went to one of their meetings last week, I think it was. And I really thought, wow, I miss this so much. I mean, I go as a participant, as an audience member now, but I spoke at it last time and at the meeting last time on marketing basics, and I don't know, I just really missed the camaraderie and the writing community. And I hadn't done any conventions the year before. This year I did go to AWP, but that almost didn't count. I know that's going to sound terrible, but AWP is humongous. There was 16,000 people there, so it wasn't really my jam on a couple of levels. First of all, I don't have an MFA, and I don't want an MFA, and AWP is very MFA heavy. They're promoting their programs, they're celebrating their authors that go to and their graduates that go to those programs. And so that part wasn't me, and the book fair is huge and it's really fun to go through, but it's a lot of indie presses and university presses and literary journals that want you to submit short stories, and I don't write short stories, so it really wasn't a huge fit. I just, again, really missed that writing community, and so that's why I went. I feel like I'm getting off track here. Let's see. Let me reel myself back in. So I didn't go to, I'm telling you two different stories concurrently. That's why I'm getting confused. So let me backtrack and tell you the Willamette Writers one first. So I went to the meeting last Thursday. Yes, last Thursday. And I missed it so much. I thought, I want to do this again. I want to chair this chapter again. And so I met with I thought about it for a lot. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And if you're a patron of my show, then you'll know the conundrums and the deep thought and the waffling back and forth that I went through about this. But I did decide that I wanted to chair the chapter again. And that does mean that I'll be putting some time, back into that organization again, which will have to take time away from something else that I'm already doing. And that's a little frightening, because I try really hard to say no when I have to, so that I can say yes to the things I want to do. And this is definitely a yes for me, but now I'm worried about what I have to say no to. And I'm hoping what I'm saying no to is Netflix and not like writing time or something like that. So I have to be very strict with myself. And I know that going in, so I feel like I'm I'm going into it with a much better, not mindset, but just an awareness of my limitations and where I can slip up. So that's one announcement. I am going back to chairing the Willamette Writers Mid-Valley chapter in Eugene, Oregon. And not very many people know that yet. So if you were listening, feel like, I mean, not privileged, but you're one of the few that know this yet. You're the first. And then the other part of that was I used to go to the Willamette Writers Conference every year. And then also I would do some kind of author event. So because I haven't been going to any events lately, I kind of overdid it a little bit and signed up for a bunch of them. And one of them, I'm happy to say, is the Career Author Summit. I'm so excited about this, and I'm really looking forward to it, but it's next year. So I have to wait a whole year to go to this, but I already signed up for it. It's in Nashville, Tennessee, which I've never been to Nashville. Oh, amazing speakers. I'm just flabbergasted, as my mom would say, about the awesome speakers that are going to be there. And one of them will be Joanna Penn, a mentor of mine. And if you are listening to this podcast, I'm sure you listen to the Creative Penn podcast. If you don't, drop everything and go listen to the Creative Penn podcast by Joanna Penn. I've read almost every one of her nonfiction books. Okay, so she's speaking at the Career Author Summit next May 2020. And Jay Thorne and Rachel Herron will be there, and I'm super excited about that because I listen to both of their podcasts. They each have 2 podcasts. I listen to both of theirs, and I'm a patron of all their podcasts. So I love what they put out into the world, and I really love how not gregarious, that's totally not the right word for them at all, but the how much they give to the author community and how warm and willing they are to give of their time and their expertise. So if you get a chance, check out the careerauthor.com/events, and you'll see the Career Author Summit. So that's exciting. I signed up for that. If you happen to be in the Nashville, Tennessee area, then hit me up, email me, and I'll meet you for coffee or something. What else happened? So my talk that I had last night, I talked at a networking group called Lane Connect in Eugene, Oregon, and I was talking about self-editing. So the talk went well, despite this crazy, crappy thing that happened. So I read a lot of self-help books and a lot of business and inspirational books, and somewhere in all of the books I read about this principle, and I don't remember the name of it and I don't remember the originator of it, but it says that the amount of time it takes you to do a work project or any project, the amount of time it takes you to do a project has to do with how much time you have to do the project. For instance, if you have 6 months to write a research paper, then it's going to take you 6 months to write the research paper. But if you have a month to do it, you can still get it done, and you'll do it in a month. So that's kind of what happened with this talk. I had prepared ahead of time, and the day of the talk, I had set aside 3 hours, 3 hours to go over my notes and fine tune the PowerPoint presentation and get it all ready to go. And I couldn't find it. I spent an hour looking through all the files in all the folders in my laptop, and I could not find this. I mean, I remember writing this, but I couldn't find it. So then I started second guessing myself. Like, did I not write this? Did I write it by hand? Was it just a journal entry of bullet points that I wanted to put in my, I couldn't remember where it was. And now I don't even know if I actually wrote it or if I just thought I wrote it, but I couldn't find it. And at 3 p.m., the talk was at 6, and I had to be there 15 minutes early. At 3 p.m., I had a massage client coming in at 4 p.m., so I had 1 hour. And I was like, okay, I had to just snap out of it and tell myself, I have to just stop everything and forget about the lost file and just rewrite it from scratch, which was really discouraging and frightening. And I knew that I couldn't put it off because I had to show up with this PowerPoint presentation and I had no time to go home. I was panicking. And even now remembering it, you maybe can hear from my voice, I was panicking. So I did it though. I wrote the PowerPoint presentation and in 1 hour, and then right after my massage client, I zoomed over to the place and gave the presentation, and everybody liked it. So I guess things happen. You can make things happen, and things will get done much faster than you thought possible. So that's the lesson from my talk from yesterday. On other personal updates, I've written another 2 sections in the Nitty Gritty of Self-Publishing book. So that's moving along. And I had, on a more personal note, I had another Skype meeting earlier today with the architectural firm that is writing the plans for and designing our Costa Rican house. So that's really exciting. And I'm really, really liking what they've come up with so far. Our homework now is to measure our rooms and compare them with the floor plan measurements and see if we want the new house to have bigger rooms or smaller rooms, or if it's already the way it's supposed to be. So that's exciting. I think that's it for my update. I don't have any new patrons this week, but I am getting some really lovely comments from the community on Patreon. One of my favorite ones, it's really fun to interact with the authors there. I was going to say fans, but the authors, that's who they are. I really love talking to other authors. So drop a line, come on into the Patreon community and see what's going on there and see what the posts are up there, and yeah, send me a comment there or email me directly. But one of my favorite comments that came in from Patreon last week was, James sent it. James, thanks James. It's been fun chatting with you. He said, I'm really excited about all the great projects you're working on. Glad to be a supporter. So that made me feel really good. So a thank you to all of the patrons that are supporting this show. And just a reminder that if you are a patron, you do get a monthly connection video from me where I get a little bit more personal and talk with you about stuff that's, everything's author related because I live an author life. So everything in my life is touched by some sort of authory thing. But the connection videos are a little bit more personal. So if you want one of those monthly connection videos, then become a patron today. So, and I put out my May video last week? No, earlier this week, Monday. It's the first Monday of the month when I set them up. So the support of my patrons on Patreon helps make this show and other projects possible. Being a patron of the arts is a totally cool thing to do, and joining my Patreon community gets you sneak peeks into my creative world, allows you to interact with me directly, and rewards you with exclusive bonus content you can't get anywhere else. For less than a cost of a tasty hot beverage or a pack of gum, as low as $1 a month, you too can become a patron of the arts and me. Find me on patreon.com/Valerie Ihsan, IHSAN. Okay, resources. I Facebook lived my talk yesterday, you guys. I almost didn't do it, and then I knew that I had said that I would maybe do it, so then I felt accountable to you to do it. So I did. I Facebook lived it, but it's my first time doing it. So, yeah, the setup probably isn't really great. I'm kind of far away from the camera, but you can hear everything just fine. So if you're interested in how to self-edit without freaking out, then you can go to my Facebook group, my private Facebook group called the Indie Author Mentor, and you can watch it there. I'm going to try and figure out how to put it on Patreon, but I don't know if I can because it's not... I don't know if I can download a Facebook Live video. So I'll check it out and see if I can. But at any rate, you can go to my Facebook group, the Indie Author Mentor, and the video is there. So it's a 40-minute video. So if you want like a little, tutorial on how to self-edit your work, then that would be a good free thing for you to do. So that's a little resource for you. I'm also speaking next Tuesday in a small discussion group at Willamette Lane Adult Activity Center in Springfield on C Street. And we're going to be talking about to pre-order or not to pre-order. So if you want to get some more interaction about this topic, since it is one of our main topics today, I'll cover it, pretty much what I'm going to be covering in the discussion group. But if you want some more interaction and some more Q&A, then feel free to come to Willamette Lane, the lobby, on Tuesday the 14th at 7 p.m. and it's a $5 drop-in fee for that. Okay, I'm still reading Become a Successful Indie Author, Work Toward Your Writing Dream by Craig Martelle. I'm really digging it. Just some really cool ideas and some things to think about. He was writing, what I read this morning was on cons, having a table at like a Comic-Con or a sci-fi con or, whatever genre you write in, and the pros and cons of doing that. So that was really interesting. Since I'm considering, or I am, in July, I'll be at a Art in the Vineyard in Eugene, Oregon. It's a fundraiser for Maud Kern's Art Center, I think, and I'll have a table there with my books. So I'll talk more about that when we get closer to it. But it was interesting to me to read this information about having the table because I'll be doing that too. So yeah, I really recommend the book. I'm really digging it. Become a Successful Indie Author, Work Toward Your Writing Dream by Craig Martelle. I'm also reading this memoir that I picked up at AWP. It's called Hook by Randall Horton. Yes, Randall Horton. And I hate giving reviews like this, but I'm not really liking that one. But I don't want to give up on it because, I know that art is really so subjective but there's not enough things that I like to read in memoir in this book. There's not enough of it to hold my interest, I guess. I really like the letters that Elle writes, but she's not even the author of the memoir. And sometimes I'm really riveted by Randall's use of language. But what I was hoping by reading this was that I would get to see into a world that I don't know about, namely like drug deals and prison time. I don't know anything about that. So I was hoping that I would get some insight into that culture, but into that world. But it's really just not capturing my interest enough. And I just don't know if I should stop reading. I'm like 3/4 of the way through. So part of me is like, let me just push through and finish this book. But the other part of me is like, I've got so many books that I want to read. Why should I waste my time with a book that's really not, engaging me? So I would like to know what you think about that. Do you keep reading books even after you've lost interest? Do you feel compelled to finish a book if you've started it? So tell me what to do. Should I finish reading this book or not? That's what I really want you to do. Email me or leave a comment in the show notes and tell me if I should keep reading this book. Okay, podcasts. I promised you new podcasts. So Books and Travel by Joe Francis Penn is amazing. If you go to booksandtravel.page, then you'll find the website for the podcast and you'll see all the episodes there. And of course, this is an alias of Joanna Penn. So of course I know about it because she's somebody I follow religiously on the internet. And the episode I listened to today was about scuba diving, which I have a friend that just became a certified scuba diver. And she was telling me how wonderful it is and how much she likes it. And the description she gave me sounded frightening and claustrophobic. Like there's no way I would ever want to be a scuba diver. That is just not something that is even on my bucket list. No way. But she loved it, and I loved listening to Joe Francis Penn talk about scuba diving and her experiences. And it just brought me to tears really multiple times in the episode, hearing her talk about how magical and awe-inspiring it was for her to be in some of these dives that she described. So I really recommend, whether you like scuba diving or not, to listen to the episode on scuba diving. All of the episodes, I've listened to all of them. So Books and Travel is a new podcast that I'm really digging. So check that out on your podcast catcher of choice. The other one I just listened to yesterday for the first time, and subscribe to is called Speculative.work, an author's diary. So the episode I listened to was on abundance for authors and about saying yes and saying no to opportunities that show up for you. So that was really interesting. So check out Books and Travel and Speculative.work, an author's diary, for new podcasts if you're looking for them. So let's get on to the main topic. It's already been 20 minutes. That's too long of an intro. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, I had notes right here. First, I'm going to be talking about KDP Select or not. So when you upload your books, you have a choice to publish wide or publish with KDP Select. I wish they'd called it something different because it gets really confusing for people that are new. KDP is where you upload your books. It's the Amazon, a publishing company. It stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. So you're going to be uploading your books to KDP. But if you want, you can select to be in the Select program, KDP Select. It's a box that you check when you upload your files to Amazon, to KDP. So the pros and cons are this. If you go wide, that means that you are available in all ebook stores. If you choose to go with KDP Select, that means you are exclusive to the Amazon stores for your ebook. This does not apply to paperbacks or hardbacks or audiobooks. I'm just talking ebooks right now. So KDP Select is an ebook program, and if you enroll in KDP Select, that means your books are automatically put into Kindle Unlimited, which is the reader interface. So the KDP is the author part, and KU, or Kindle Unlimited, is the reader part. So maybe you are a KU subscriber already and you know what I'm talking about. But Kindle Unlimited is, they call it sometimes the Netflix for books. So you pay, I don't know, like $9.99 or something like that a month, and then you get as many borrows of books as you want. So Kindle Unlimited is like the biggest library in the world, kind of, if you want to look at it that way. So you don't own any of the ebooks that you're reading through KU, but you're borrowing them. And the author gets paid on the pages read by the consumer. And then, okay, so let me just go on with that because I kind of started into my topic a little too quickly. So let's just start with KDP Select then. It's currently, first of all, the industry recommendation. It's not the standard at all, but based on your own values and business model, a recommendation is that if this is your first book, or really if you have less than 3 books in one genre, to go ahead and do that KDP Select program as a temporary strategy for building an audience. If you're in KDP Select, Amazon's algorithms give you extra juju. They want you to be in KDP Select, so they're going to give you extra visibility, the algorithm, somehow. I don't know how it works, and neither does any of the Amazon workers, but somehow this algorithm knows that you're in KDP Select and will make you more visible on their lists and in their recommendations, and it'll just make it easier for you to be found by a random shopper. Not, I mean, there's still millions of other titles that are in KDP Select program, but the fact that you're in it will just create more visibility for you and also give you access to another market of people, those KU subscribers. And if you're not in KDP Select, the KU subscribers are not going to borrow books from you because your book isn't in the program. So they're a whole separate market of people. So when you're in KDP Select, you earn money from people buying your books, just like anybody else, and you earn money from the pages read in the book borrows, if that makes any sense. If you have questions, please email me to clarify. Okay, so another bonus to being in KDP Select are the 5 free promotional days or free days in your 90-day exclusivity, I guess, contract, if you will. So when you tick the box that says you want to join KDP Select, you're doing it for 90 days. So you can uncheck the box if you decide that KDP Select isn't your jam and you don't want to do that and you want to upload to different stores and go wide with your ebook, then you can just uncheck the box. But you have to be in it for 90 days at a time. So make a mark on your calendar to check in right before the time is up, the 90 days, so you can reevaluate and just decide if you want to stay in the program or if you want to get out. So you can go in and uncheck the box. Otherwise, you just automatically roll over. So within that, each 90-day period of time, you get a promotional, you get 5 promotional days, and they can be free days, meaning you can put your book for free because Amazon doesn't like that and they're not going to let you do that regularly. But if you have these free days, then you can set your book to free and try to get a lot of extra subscribers that day, a lot of downloads, I mean. And that is a good marketing strategy. And then the promotional days they're like countdown days. Like you can set it for $2.99 and then $1.99 and then $99 and then, you know what I mean? You can just make it an event for your fans. And it's a sale. So you're trying to get more borrows and more sales on those promotional days. And they show up more, in different lists in Amazon. Sorry about the dog. I have to remember to put him out of the room when we do these because when he scratches himself, he jingles. Okay, so we've got 90 days exclusivity ebooks. We've got 5 free promotional days or 5 days on those countdown deals. We have more discoverability and visibility, and you've got that whole other market of people that read books, the KU market. And the way it works, I mean, this is just a rough definition, but basically you get paid, it changes what you get paid per page because, well, I won't get into that. That's too complicated. But basically it's about 0.04 cents per page read. And if you have a big book that's got, 100,000 words in it and it's 500 pages long, and it's a great book and they read it, then you're going to get a lot of money for that book read, for that borrow. But if you've just got a short book, maybe it's a nonfiction book or something like that, then it's going to be a little bit, you're going to have less pages, so you're going to get less money for that book. But on average, if you have an average size book, I did KDP Select for one of my books for 2 90-day cycles, and I would get the pages read on the book would equal about the same as the royalties I would get for a book sale. So it kind of evened out in my head. A borrow and a sale kind of equated the same for me. Because of the way I set up my pricing structure and how long the book was. But that might be different for you. So the bottom line is you're going to get more income from Amazon if you are in KDP Select. that kind of, it just goes without saying, because you've got two markets of people that are feeding in money to you. And if you go wide, you're going to have a lot of other markets that could potentially give you money. But if you're new and you don't have a fan base already, then the traction you're going to get on those other platforms are maybe going to be, minimal. So you have to make that decision. So maybe you decide you want to be wide anyway. Maybe you only have one book or 3 books and you just want to be wide because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's a totally valid point, and actually is the one that I choose myself. So even though I know the industry not standard, but the industry recommendation is to do KDP if you have less than 3 books in one genre, which I do not. I have 3 books, but they're all in different genres. Then, but yeah, even though that is the recommendation, I still choose to go wide because that just feels better to me. So that's just a personal value choice I've made. So the benefits and the negatives of going wide are you lose that discoverability through Amazon, which is the biggest store. So, I'm not discounting that. But you do get a global audience. There are so many stores in the world that Amazon can't get into, like they don't have the market for. And so if you're wide, you can sell in all these other countries and not just in the main ones here that are English speaking, but all around the world. And that's really exciting to know that, hey, I've sold a book in Zimbabwe or whatever. If I found out that, I would be super excited. So I love the idea of reaching a global market. And you can't do that if you're in KDP Select. So another good thing about being wide is that your readers get to choose where they read from you. So my first e-reader, very first one, was a Nook, which did not support the Mobi files that Amazon sells. So I could not buy anything from Amazon to read on my e-reader at that time. And again, now too, like I have a Kindle Paperwhite, but I also have a Kobo e-reader, which is the one I prefer to use now. So, but I remember, an author friend putting out her first books, and I wanted to support her and buy her books because I liked her books, and I also wanted to support her. But she was in KDP Select, so I couldn't buy her book unless I bought it on Amazon. So I couldn't buy her ebooks because I had a Nook. So I would have preferred to make the choice to purchase a book from a different store than just Amazon. So I want to give my reader fans the choice to buy my book in the store that they choose. So that's a benefit of going wide, is letting your patrons buy from the store of their choice. You also support smaller stores if that's a value of yours. Amazon's humongous. So if you want to support those smaller stores like Kobo or Apple Books, then going wide is the way to do that. Kobo and Apple Books have other benefits that Amazon currently does not. One of them being pricing, and that's another pro for going wide is your choice, your freedom to price where you want. So currently, and has been for years, and I don't know that it will change, but change is always constant, so maybe it will change. But at the moment, in 2019, May, KDP, or Amazon, wants you to price your books between $2.99 and $9.99. And in doing so, you will get 70% of the royalties. Or your royalties will be 70% of retail, I guess. And that's awesome. But if you have a box set that is, 8 books long or something, or 9 books long, and it's really big, and you want to price it at $19.99, then you're only going to get 30% of that $19.99 if you're in Amazon, or specifically KDP Select. But in Apple Books or Kobo, there isn't any ceiling on how high you price your books. You'll get the high royalty rate regardless of your price. So that's a bonus for or a pro for going wide. And I know some authors will put their books in Amazon, but not their box sets. They'll put their box sets in Kobo and Apple Books because they get more money for selling them there than they do at Amazon because of that pricing cap that Amazon has. So that's kind of it for the pros and cons of KDP Select versus going wide. I'll read them through briefly just again to kind of sum it up. So if you go wide, you can go global. Your patrons can buy from the store of their choice. You are supporting smaller stores by going wide, and you have freedom in your pricing structures. If you want to go KDP Select, the pros for that are you have 5 free promo days during that 90-day exclusivity contract, or 5 countdown deal days. And you've got more visibility and discoverability. So if you're a new author and you don't have a big fan base, that's a huge plus. And you get more income because you're tapping into that whole other market, that Kindle Unlimited market. So that's that in a nutshell. So it's already at 36 minutes. I wanted to talk pre-orders too. So I think I'm going to make a command decision and not talk pre-orders today. I'm going to save that for next week. I really want to keep these episodes short, and I just talked too long today. So sorry about the extra long intro. Sorry, not sorry. So thank you for listening today on the marketing strategy of going KDP Select or wide, and you really need to decide that before you upload your books to the platforms, because that will determine which platforms you're uploading to. So think about it. Decide what is going to be the best fit for your business model and your business strategies. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to talk to you more about whether or not KDP Select is a good idea or if wide is better for you. Talk to you next time when we'll talk about pre-orders. Be well. Keep writing.